Welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Travel Alert. I'm Steve Glenn.
I'm Paul Glenn.
Paul, we're back in the saddle. I'm getting my voice back.
There we go.
For 4 weeks, I've had this rumbling in my throat and cough and sneeze and whistle. And
it's finally not negative 20 wind chills outside.
I know.
That might help a little bit.
I
It's
got
been
on
miserable.
my antibiotics, and they still took me about 10 days to knock it down. So hopefully I'm out of the woods, but I'm having fun. We're having fun on the Weekly Traveler. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us every week. On Tuesdays at 10:30, we send out 100,000 emails and to people that visit our website, executivetravel.com. They sign up for them. We've been sending those out for over 30 years. And we put together the activity. These are my editorials for the week. Mm-hmm. Paul, what do you have, a publication?
Travel Week in Review, which is just kind of the top news articles that impact travel on a weekly basis. Just keep people informed of what's going on.
And that comes out on
Fridays.
Okay, so between yours and mine, we send out a couple 100,000 emails. And this show is basically a recap of that, kind of pushing the editorial bounds a little bit.
Yeah, we get to ad-lib.
Ad-lib
this stuff on here, yeah.
All right, this week the top headline reads as follows. Airlines and hotels are playing AI games with prices, and frequent travelers are starting to go underground. Paul, you just had this happen a couple weeks ago when you booked a hotel, and you booked it through our agency and got a pretty good rate up in Omaha. Mm-hmm. And a couple of your buddies who are frequent members of the hotel chains
went straight to the app, and they paid $100 a night more.
Yeah, so basically you got their best customers paying more.
They know that you're going to book them, and they know you're going straight to their app, so they know you're not shopping it.
Yeah, so what we're saying, and I said, I got in trouble a year ago. I said Delta's going to use that thing, your frequent flyer number, to offer you higher prices. Delta didn't like me saying that, and but the reality of it is once they know your travel patterns, if they know, for example, if United knows I travel Chicago to Rome 5 or 6 times a year, right?
As soon as you plug in your United number.
Yeah, they're going to say, well, why don't I just offer him something $500 more? Because he's going to take us anyway.
He's going to take us,
yeah. Now, they're going to say we don't do that. But the hotel you did is a perfect example.
Yeah. I think it's something where they know now. They've got all the data. All the data is out there, and they're obviously everybody's
AI,
using the data for their own advantage.
So now I sense that some frequent travelers are going to go rogue, which means you'll go to the United website, not put in your frequent flyer number, just act like you're John Q. Public, get that price, and then put in your frequent flyer number and find out what that price is.
I'll actually go to Google Flights because then it's anonymous. So they don't know that I've got a frequent traveler number or any of that type of stuff. And then I'll figure out what I want and send it over to the agent and say, this is what I want. Go track it down for me.
And that's another reason to use a good travel advisor, and Executive Travel will be happy to help you, because when we're booking it for you, we're going to book it and then append your information later.
Yep.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's number 1 on the list for this week's Weekly Traveler. The second headline reads as follows. United and American declare war at Chicago O'Hare. Paul, this last fall, United went and grabbed 5 of the gates for American Airlines. American sued and then lost. But man, American wants to beef up. They have about 500 daily flights. United has 750 daily flights. Well, American wants to beef up their hub there, and United, of course, doesn't want them. So they're fighting for those gates. American bought some of, I think it was Spirit's gates or something recently, and what we're seeing is a turf war. Now, that's generally pretty good news for travelers, especially if United's traveling Omaha to Chicago and
American's doing the same,
So that's usually good news for travelers. Let's see how it comes out.
It'll be interesting to see, when they do have duplicate flights, does that mean that there are going to be some cancellations and things at some point?
Yeah, how busy they are.
They're not filling the flights because they're both trying to fill these same markets. So how will that have an impact? So I think as we get into this summer, we'll see how that goes.
Well, even a little airport like Lincoln is picking up American service from Lincoln to Chicago, and that's probably one of those flights they're adding.
Exactly, that's what they're adding.
So, but here's the thing I worry about. Chicago O'Hare is always busy, always crowded, always late.
Always delayed.
And so this is only going to make it worse. So I'm telling people, for number 3 on my list, I now recommend a minimum 2-hour connecting time at major hub airports, because they've gotten these connecting flights, sometimes like 46 minutes or something ridiculous. You can't get from the F concourse to the C concourse.
To the C, that's the thing. It does take 25 minutes of a pretty heavy walk to get from F to C.
You got an old fella
I've
me,
been
puffing
sweating and
puffing.
running, and I think Jen and I have shown up out of breath, and just as they've shut the doors on us. So.
I'll tell you, yeah, that's no fun. That there used to be a commercial with O.J. Simpson running through the airport, jumping over luggage.
Was that a Hertz commercial?
A Hertz commercial. Yep. That dates us about 30 years ago,
That was
Paul.
a long time ago when O.J. was still running.
All right, hey, number 4 on this week's edition of the Weekly Traveler: refundable fares are backfiring on airlines, and you're paying for it, Paul. So what basically they've done is, when I go in and look at what fares are, they might make a refundable domestic fare $100 more. And that basically says you can book this reservation and pay for it far in advance, and get it refundable, but they'll charge you $100 more domestically. So what people are doing is they're booking that refundable, and guess what they do a couple weeks before? They cancel that, and if they can get the non-refundable.
Yep, when they're solid on what their trip's going to be. Yep.
And the airlines are saying, well, we don't want that, so they're raising that, changing the dates when the non-refundable's even available. Now, domestic isn't too bad, but internationally, I'm seeing $500, $800
or more
to get a refundable business class fare. So that's when it gets pretty dicey. I know I booked something in October for this year to Italy, and it was $800 more, and I booked it because I figured I could get closer.
When you're booking 9 months out, you don't know what your plans are going to entail and what's going to come up. So you need that additional flexibility, and if you, especially if you're not 100% confident the trip's going to happen, because with that cheaper fare you can still do an exchange. So you can change your dates, and then you'll just have the potential of having a fare increase based on whatever those changes are.
Right.
But it's if you don't know if the trip's actually going to happen, and you don't know if you're going to travel again, to be able to use the credit of that non-refundable fare and apply it towards another fare later on a different flight on that same carrier.
So to our listeners, I want to make sure it's very crystal clear. You can buy a non-refundable fare. You can not refund it, but you can cancel it and apply the value of that toward a new ticket.
As long as you didn't buy a basic economy.
Right. And you can do it just for yourself. You can't give that to Aunt Nellie, right? Yep. You got to use it it's got to be for the
same traveler.
Yeah, and now the nice thing is they used to charge a $200 change
pre-COVID,
fee. And now that's kind of gone away a little bit.
It has, yep.
So anyway, our 5th item and last item, this is kind of abbreviated. We're fast
and furious on this week.
Right.
There we go.
That's right. Here we go.
I watched that on my flight home from London here a couple weeks ago. Okay. Fast and Furious. Let's do this.
Airport parking can now cost more than your airline ticket. Paul, airport parking, $30.
Oh, it's crazy.
$30
the big cities
a day.
I mean, even Omaha, I think it's $24.50 or something to park in the garage.
Okay, so $25. You're gone. Let's say you go for an Italy tour for 10 days. You spent $250.
Yeah.
So if you lived in Omaha. Actually, if you lived in Lincoln, you can take an Uber to Omaha and Uber back to Lincoln.
Probably cost you $200.
Cheaper than you can park at the Omaha parking garage.
I figured out maybe if I could find some friends that could actually just drive me and drop me off, and that's the best of all worlds.
Oh, that is.
Just got to find those friends.
Well, I was going to say Ryan will have trouble with that, finding friends.
Ryan, I'll help you if you'll help me.
We give Ryan Swihart in our office a bad time, but he's a great asset for our company and head of our marketing department. Thank you, Ryan, for all that you do for us. And this has been this week's edition of the Weekly Travel Alert. We hope that you join us again. We have, over 110 according to Titus.
According to Titus, who's now our guy that's keeping track. This would be 111.
111. Okay, we're enjoying every week. Hope you do too. Thanks again for joining us.
Please like, subscribe, share, and add any comments or feedback on topics that would be of interest for future episodes. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Titus is still on it.
He
still
said, you have 110.
he's our biggest fan, dude. That kid, man. That's awesome.
He's memorized the Delta Wires song Vacation. So he says, do you think they'll let me go on stage and sing it?